Welcome to Inner Flow Art Therapy. I'm Athena. Thank you so much for stopping by if you're new here. On this channel, we make videos on different art techniques that are therapeutic, that help us feel more grounded, help us get in touch with ourselves, and allow us to be more in the moment. Now, what is art therapy? Art therapy is all about allowing ourselves to express ourselves through creative means. Sometimes it's hard for us to find the words to express what we're feeling in any given moment. Sometimes we may be overwhelmed with grief, or sometimes we may be so shut down that we really can't articulate what we are feeling in words. And this is where art therapy comes in and enables us to do this. We are able to express our emotions through artistic means. So it could be watercolors, it could be crayons, it could be markers. Maybe the fact that we get to mold something with our hands by using clay, maybe this helps us express what we are feeling. So art is an amazing way to get in touch with our body, to allow our emotions to flow through the artwork. Art therapy has been a huge part of my life ever since I was a teenager. I have always used art as a way of expressing myself, whether this was poetry, whether this was painting, whether this was drawing or sketching or making things with my hands. I have always enjoyed crafts. I even ended up doing a bachelor's in art and jewelry design. So art has always been there for me in moments of intense stress. Art therapy is truly magical. So I invite you to have a look at the videos on this channel and give them a try. Art therapy is not about perfection. It's not about creating a beautiful piece of art. Anybody can do art therapy. You don't have to be amazingly artistic. When we are creative, this is a part of all of us. We don't have to have skill to be creative. We can all be creative. It's something that is a part of us. I'm not here to teach you how to draw or how to paint. I'm here to help you express yourself through different art mediums. I'm here to help you find a story behind what your artwork may mean to you. I want to help you understand why you chose the medium you used, why you chose the colors you did to make the piece of art that you created. Why did you feel more comfortable using watercolors or pens or pencil? Did you maybe prefer clay for some reason? Was it difficult for you to create with certain materials? Everything matters in art therapy. The process is important. All of these things tell us something about who we are and where we are in our lives in that given moment. Symbols are a very big part of psychodynamic art therapy. It's all based on Carl Jung's theories. So this is also very important. I am currently training in psychodynamic art therapy, but I would like to incorporate other types of therapy into my work, such as person-centered, such as trauma-informed art therapy, somatic art therapy. These things are very important to me because I've also lived with the effects of trauma. I hope this introduction has encouraged you to maybe give art a try. In this video today, we are going to focus on boundaries. How would you paint or draw boundaries on a piece of paper? How would you show how strong your boundaries are with some people, but maybe not so with others? What colors would you use? What lines would you use? Boundaries are important for all of us because they protect us from the things that we don't want in our lives. But some of us may really struggle with boundaries. Maybe we find it really hard to say no. Maybe we always want to go along with everything in case we are alone. Boundaries are not easy for everybody. Not everybody has learnt healthy boundaries in their childhood, which is why it's important to try and express how we see boundaries in our artwork. So if you're ready to start today's activity, let's dive in. So I've got some marker pens today that may be helpful. I also have some oil pastels, which are not necessarily my favorite material, but I'm really going to give them a try. And I also have watercolors. Now it's important to get our art materials ready. If you're going to use watercolors, I would recommend that you have the right paper for watercolors, because if you use a plain A4 piece of paper, this is not going to be good enough and it's going to become really crumply. Now in today's video, I don't have that kind of paper, but I would very much recommend it. Just before you start, I'd like you to take a few deep breaths and ground yourself in the moment. Now, before we start, I'd like you to think about which boundaries are the most important to you. And I would like you to start from there. And then once you go through the exercise, you can start thinking about the other boundaries in your life that maybe you're not so good at and that you wish you could change. Now, I'm going to start off by drawing a tiny little person in the middle of my page. She's just a little stick figure, nothing special. I'm going to personally use some watercolors to draw the most important boundary for me. And I'm going to reinforce this boundary with another color. And then I'm going to think about what boundaries look like with friendship, with work colleagues, with strangers. What do my boundaries look like when I'm out in public, walking on the street? How do you protect yourself around others? And then I'm going to think about what is in my inner circle. Am I content in my closest, most intimate setting? What are my boundaries like there? Do I do enough to honor myself, protect myself from those closest to me? Or do I notice that sometimes I struggle with that too? And if I'm being honest, yes, sometimes I do struggle with boundaries in my most intimate relationships. And that is why I've gone over the little person here with the watercolor. Now I'm going to use yellow. Because I want to highlight how important it is for me to remember that I'm allowed to protect myself and say no. And since I am a people pleaser who is trying to heal from this, I need to remind myself that my worth does not depend on whether I say yes all the time. Sometimes it's okay for me to also say no. Now that's me done with my watercolors. I'm going to use some of my oil pastels now. To show how rigid I want my boundaries to be. It's also really important for me to remember that if somebody oversteps a boundary, I can make sure that they understand that they need to respect my boundary. Otherwise, that relationship will come to an end. And there we go. And this is my finished artwork. It's still a little bit wet. So I'm the one in the middle, and I've painted the middle of my circle green because green for me means serenity, peace, calm, and where I feel the safest. And within that area, my boundaries are more relaxed. I am able to be myself. And then around my inner circle, I have a red line because it means that I'm not going to let anybody into that. It's very important to me to feel safe in my inner circle, and I don't want other people getting close if I don't trust them or if they're not good family or good friends. And then you'll see round that inner circle, between the red and the pink, there's some jagged lines, which means that in the past I've allowed people in there and I've regretted it. So those jagged lines are to remind me to be more careful in the future and to not allow people into that inner circle, because that inner circle is my safety net. Now around that I've got the yellow, the little lines going outwards, which is a bit like a sunshine. And when I'm meeting new people, I tend to get quite excited, and I sometimes need to take a step back and get to know the person a little bit more before I get too excited. I may meet somebody the first time and think they're amazing, but then as time progresses, I realize, well, actually, they maybe aren't the right person for me. And then as we go towards the edge of the boundaries, we have some blues and then the pink dots. These are the things in my life that I would like to keep in balance. And sometimes I struggle to do that. I struggle to keep things in balance. And balance is very important for my mental health. If I do too much in one area and not in the other, so for instance, if I don't exercise enough, if I don't stick to my healthy eating, if I don't get enough sleep, all of this affects me. So if I start saying yes to things because I don't want to say no, then I'm not really respecting my boundaries. So that's why it's important to express yourself in your artwork. You know, what do the shapes mean? Why is some round? Why is some more jagged? Why is some circular? Why are some of the shapes more scattered, like my little pink circles here? All of these things mean something. So when you finish your artwork, try and give it a title if you can, and explore what it means to you. Write down the emotions that come up, maybe the thoughts that came up while you were creating this piece of art. Did you find the experience enjoyable? Did you find it more relaxing? Do you maybe feel more grounded now that you created this artwork versus how you felt at the beginning? Did you maybe realize things about yourself? All of these things are good questions to ask yourself, and this is what art therapy is about. It's about the process of creating, but it's also about trying to figure out what thoughts came to mind, what emotions came up, how did you feel in your body overall. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this today. If you have any questions at all about art therapy and you would like to get in touch, then please feel free to email me at athenaalen@gmail.com. My email will be in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching today and enjoy your creativity. Take care. Bye-bye.